Chapter 536, The Benefits. Crack. As Tang Shou furiously yelled, the entire space of the pocket world seemed to crack. The shattering sound, like an egg cracking, was clearly transmitted to his ears. What's going on? With a drastically changed expression, information suddenly appeared in his mind, and he suddenly felt like wanting to cry yet was without tears. It was information the humanoid old man had left him, saying that the space of this pocket world would collapse after the old man dissipated, and that he would be teleported outside as long as he pulled out the divine sword in the distance. On a certain spot far away, Yang Lu looked stupefied and tongue-tied as he gazed at the surroundings. Cracks appeared out of nowhere in the space, raising deep and intense fear inside his heart. Despite saying that he didn't have knowledge pertaining the existence of cultivation in the Tao, immortality, and divinity, the disintegration of the space now still made him desperate. Tang Shou, where are you, Tang Shou? Muttering in a shivering voice, Yang Lu had no choice but to run towards the mountain. What exactly happened? Wasn't that mountain burning before? Where has that ice ladder gone? How come that big mountain is collapsing? When Yang Lu was able to clearly see the faraway mountain as his mouth gaped and opened wide as his body was suddenly paralyzed. Whoosh! A lightning-like silhouette came flying from afar. Yang Lu only felt a pair of firm hands grabbed his shoulders and he was suddenly flying amid the clouds. Tang Shou? Yang Lu exclaimed in disbelief after he rubbed his eyes to make sure his eyes didn't betray him. Just keep your mouth shut, shouted Tang Shou. I know you have loads of things to ask, but now is not the time. I'll try to tell you what you want to know after we leave this place. N. Yang Lu repeatedly nodded as Tang Shou took him flying, causing his fear to fade away. Boom. When Tang Shou's feet landed on the ground, he immediately released Yang Li's body and dashed toward the giant longsword that stood erect against the sky. An image of a sword appeared out of nowhere inside his mind as Tang Shou focused his mind and his hands formed a series of hand seals. Boom. The layer of ash-gray substances on the surface of the giant longsword blasted out, and the 10,000 zhang long greatsword appeared in front of his eyes. Its size then reduced extremely fast and turned into a normal longsword within a few seconds. The sword revolved around Tang Shou several times and emitted out buzzing sounds before drilling into Tang Shou's body. To me, Tang Shou's mind focused to manipulate it, and the longsword appeared directly in his right hand, leaving an inscribed sword pattern on it. Quickly after, Tang Shou returned to Yang Lu. After he grabbed him, a long sword appeared out of thin air, and he struck it the moment it appeared. As a space crack opened, Tang Shou slipped into it while carrying Yang Lu. The next moment, he and Yang Lu appeared in front of the previous cave, standing on the platform covered with silk fabric. Move. This place is going to collapse. Grabbing Yang Lu, Tang Shou dashed lightning fast to the top of the stairs. Just as he passed through the third portal, the gate loudly shut down. At this moment, the longsword in Tang Shou's palm emerged out of thin air once again. At the same time, he firmly used it to slash the gate made of special materials. It was cut into two halves like tofu and Tang Shou collected them into his interspatial ring. The second portal. The first portal. Using the same method, Tang Shou collected them into his interspatial ring and rushed out to the surface. We finally came out. Tang Shou's heart was beating wildly as he recalled the bitter experience he had gone through inside. Although the yin-yang divinity lake had been swallowed by the black hole in his dantian, it had given great benefits to his cultivation. He originally thought that he would need at least 10 years to reach the peak of the viscera transformation stage. Little did he expect that he would have such a colossal fortuitous encounter, making it easy for him to achieve it. However, he knew perfectly well that such a boost in cultivation was both good and bad for him. The drawback was that he wouldn't be able to control his own power for a period of time, thus he must gradually familiarize himself with his current state while using his strength. Only then would he truly reach the peak level of the viscera transformation stage. Hooray! We came out. Yang Lu felt like he had just escaped a disaster. He looked at the sunny weather with beautiful sunlight. Despite the chaotic scene, the smooth feeling brought by his breath moved him to tears. Suddenly, he turned to Tang Xiu and shouted, "Tell me. What the hell happened down there?" Whoosh. 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 4 figures flashed from the entrance of the ancient tomb and suddenly appeared in front of Tang Xiu in the blink of an eye. "Boss." The 4 men called out reverentially. "You guys go to the Long's dining hall and book a private box for me. I'll catch up with you later." Tang Xiu nodded and smilingly said, "Copy that." The 4 men nodded and quickly left. Yang Lu rubbed his eyes. He realized that the time spent for those 4 stalwart men appeared very short, and their departure was also very fast. "Tang Xiu, you guys, exactly what are you, people? Have you broadened up your mind after accompanying me today?" Tang Xiu laughed. "Telling you is actually fine, but now is not yet the time. Like I told you before, you're not yet eligible. I nearly died in the ancient tomb this time, and not even a shred of benefit did I get," Yang Lu screamed angrily. "Is this your answer?"
Yeah.
"That's my answer," Tang Xiu nodded. "If anything, I have offered you a good fortune already. If you can fulfill my request, I still won't take you as a disciple, but you can be sure that I'll regard you as a friend. The chance is yours to take." Yang Lu fell into silence. He stared at Tang Xiu for a long time before he asked, "That opportunity you told me, does it include explaining what happened inside the ancient tomb and that particular space?" "Literally everything?" "Yes." Tang Xiu directly nodded. Yang Lu suddenly laughed. His smile was bright yet looked frenzied, for he felt that through Tang Xiu, he had finally seen a window to a magnificent novel world filled with mystery and never before seen things that were beyond his cognition and knowledge. Thus, he decided that, regardless the price he must pay, he would stick close to Tang Xiu like a dogskin plaster to learn about that mysterious, magical world. "I want it, Tang Xiu." Yang Lu stretched out his hand and restored his cheeky grin. Tang Xiu rolled his eyes at him. "The benefits will be great for you. Consider it as a reward for helping me opening those 2 portals. But don't ask for a mile after you got an inch, okay? Or else I'll annul your opportunity." "So, 5 billion, right?" Yang Lu raised his head and asked. "Yup, 5 billion. Tang Xiu understood what he was asking. "Of course, if you still want to give me 10 billion yuan, I'll be more than happy to accept it." Yang Lu rolled his eyes and strode outside. Revealing a faint smile, Tang Xiu caught up with him after several steps. He then sent an instruction to the security guards and then strode outside. Although the space underneath had caved in, the construction above it had already collapsed, so Tang Xiu wasn't worried that it would cause casualties. Nevertheless, he still instructed the security guards to guard the perimeter and told them to not let anyone approach the landslide spot. More than an hour later, Tang Xiu and Yang Lu arrived at the entrance of Star City's Long's dining hall. The security guards at the entrance had been replaced, thus he had to take out his membership card to be allowed to enter. Inside the presidential suite, Long Zhengyu had already arrived after having previously received a phone call from Tang Xiu. At this time, he looked weary and exhausted. Had it not been for the various things he needed to deal with, he may have fallen asleep at any time. "So, what about your consoling duty?" asked Tang Xiu after motioning for Long Zhengyu to sit on the sofa. Everything that could be done was done, yet dealing with the aftermath of a disaster can't be done all at once. Long Zhengyu answered with a bitter expression. "A lot of workers are dead and many got injured. This accident was really too big. No one wants such an accident to happen." "No one," Tang Xiu sighed. "Yet we must make sure to treat the families of the dead and injured workers well. It's all right to spend more money to compensate them, for it's about their future lives, since it also relates to the reputation of the Long group as well. I know. Don't worry about that. Long Zhengyu nodded heavily. Upon hearing his answer, Tang Xiu no longer continued talking about this issue. He put his hand on Long Zhengyu's shoulder and began to massage him. His action made Long Zhengyu dazed and surprised for a moment, yet it immediately warmed his heart, causing his weariness and heavy feelings to gradually vanish. With Tang Xiu's very unusual massage technique, Long Zhengyu, who looked distressed and downcast, gradually relaxed. Tang Xiu's fingers then moved and began massaging Long Zhengyu's forehead, as he pressed his temple, causing him to slowly fall asleep. Carry him to the next room and let him sleep for 3 hours, and then wake him up, instructed Tang Xiu to the 4 men who had arrived earlier. Understood. The 4 experts of the Everlasting Feast Hall replied and then carried Long Zhengyu off. With a queer expression, Yang Lu stared at Tang Xiu and said, "Tang Xiu, I just realized that you're very good to him. It's like, he's a family member." "We are friends," said Tang Xiu lightly. Yang Lu was stunned. Friends? In his life, he used to think that his senior brothers were his closest relatives. Not until his master passed away did he finally see their true faces, causing him to heartlessly sever any relationship he ever had with them. Aside from looking for women all day, he had been alone all these years. All of a sudden, he felt jealous and truly envied Long Zhengyu. The complex expression on Yang Li's face was noticed by Tang Xiu. "Perhaps we'll become friends in the future as well. That is if you're willing to open your heart and devote yourself to our relationship." Yang Lu kept his silence for a long time before he spoke with a very serious expression, then, "I swear to God that I'll make sure to never steal your stuff in the future." Cough, cough. His reply made Tang Xiu choke and be at a loss whether to cry or laugh. This guy wanted to befriend him, yet it was just the same as promising to not steal his stuff. This chap was really the best spare tire among all spare tires, a rare, exotic marvel. "If you dare to steal my stuff, then I'll cut off your 3rd leg." Tang Xiu replied with a joke. However, it was exactly this sentence that caused Yang Li's head to shrink. Chapter 537, The One You Marry Will Die. The Long's dining hall did have delicious dishes and delicacies, yet they were so expensive that it made people shudder. Despite having a lot of money, Tang Xiu felt somewhat unwilling when he had to pay the bill. He wouldn't have come here to burn his money if it weren't for Zhengyu. At noon, Zhengyu walked out of his room. He still looked sleepy, but he was much better. After seeing Tang Xiu, who was currently quietly reading a book on the sofa, he smiled and said, "Tang Xiu, thanks a bunch." "It's nothing." Tang Xiu smiled faintly. "Health is our most important capital. Anyways, you might as well contact Kong Xia today, and ask her to send you some our company's health products. It will improve your physical fitness after some time. The magnificent Tang Corporation's health products have finally been produced. When will it be released to the market?" Zheng Yu's eyes lit up as he smilingly asked. "It should be on the 1st, answered Tang Xiu. Long Zhengyu clasped his hands and smilingly said, "That younger brother of mine has always been waiting for news of when the health products would be released to the market. Recently, he seems to be working on a project in Shanghai, and I heard that he is in need of quite a lot of funds. But you also know the recent situation of the Long family. Most of our reserve funds are currently being invested in the Walled Hill Village, New City, and Nine Dragons Island. And that brat, he's kinda short on funds, and quite a lot of it." Tang Xiu was silent for a moment, before he lightly replied, "If you're willing to listen to me, don't help him even for a penny. An uncut jade won't be useful. He has grown up accustomed to an easy life ever since he was born. You must let him experience hardships in life. As a matter of fact, I would have directly thrown him into that situation if he were my blood brother, and not let him get even a penny from the family for a period of time, so as to make him experience how a man must strive to make money. Are you really going to do that, Tang Shou? Asked Zhang Yu with a strange expression. Not only that, I will even deliberately set up obstructions to make him stumble if opportunity permits, said Tang Shou with a cold smile. I'll intentionally pit and deceive him so that he will realize that making honest money is harder than swindling, for he must experience that heaven won't open its door unless he fights for it. He must know that life is hard and money is hard-earned. That will make him cherish life and make him mature faster. Are you not afraid that he will hate you if he learns about it later? Asked Long Zhengyu. If I'm willing to give him all the wealth and inheritance of the family, even the position of the family head, will he hate me for that? Tang Shou rhetorically asked. Zhang Yu fell into silence. He suddenly understood Tang Shou's intention. At this moment, however, he slightly regretted not having Tang Shou as a close relative of his own blood. Ring, ring, ring. A ringtone resounded. Tang Shou took out his mobile phone and looked at the number displayed on the screen. He furrowed his brows, because Su Yaning's name was displayed there. He got her number from Wang Daoyuan when he was in Beijing, though he didn't expect that Su Yaning would actually call him. What do you need for calling me? Tang Shou asked straightforwardly after receiving the call. There was no reply from the mobile phone for a while, as a question then slowly unfolded. You seem to know that it was me calling you?
Yeah.
Tang Shou answered. I asked your cell number from Wang Daoyuan. Why? Why? Then why now? I just want to know if you're dead or alive, so I can help Grandma do something in the future. Su Yanning fell into silence. She didn't speak, but Tang Shou was not in a hurry as well. The phone call kept silent for 5 minutes before Su Yanning finally spoke with unusual emotion. Can you help my dad? What kind of help? Asked Tang Shou. I know you have the ability to get him out of prison ahead of time, said Su Yanning. I do have the ability to do that, but it's not like I'm going to do it, said Tang Shou lightly. People, whoever they are, must pay for what they've done. 2 years, that's my bottom line. My anger won't subside if he doesn't stay in prison for at least that long. Of course, he can release himself earlier if he has the ability to do so, and I'll bother him no longer. What's between you and my dad that makes you discriminate him so, Tang Shou? Asked Su Yanning angrily. I don't know what you mean by discriminating him, but what I know is that whoever bullies my mother must pay quite a terrible price, said Tang Shou indifferently. Once again, Su Yanning fell into silence. Only after a long while did she finally said in a bitter tone, I want to marry someone, and I want my parents to appear at my wedding. You're getting married? Tang Shou squinted his eyes. He then coldly snorted and said, if you dare to marry someone, I have the means to make your husband fall into despair, misery, and misfortune regardless of who he is. If I'm in a bad mood someday, perhaps this so-called husband of yours will be run over and become dead just like what your mother did, so you'll be a widow earlier. Also, I must reiterate once again, I'm not afraid to make the one you marry die. I have enough personal contacts and money to do it. You fucking bastard. Su Yanning furiously bellowed. Asshole, bastard, that indeed I am, Tang Shou sneered. But have you asked yourself why I became an asshole? I believe your family knows the best about my disposition in the past, isn't that right? Snap. Su Yanning hung up the phone at once. As if seemingly having long expected that she would hang up, Tang Shou called her again, but Su Yanning rejected the call. Tang Shou kept dialing repeatedly and she kept rejecting, until Su Yanning finally connected his call, yet didn't speak at all. You can hate me, but I want you to take your time well to recall what you've done before. That time, you were the one who framed me, and you were also the one who called the cops. If I hadn't changed, it would have been me in prison now. Now think, who in your family would get me out from prison? I've said everything I wanted to tell you. And lastly, I advise everyone in your family, not limited to your parents. All of you are not children, it is time for you all to mature and act like adults. After saying that, Tang Xiu directly hung up the phone and didn't give time to Su Yanning to reply. At the side, Yang Lu tilted his legs. After seeing Tang Xiu hung up the call, he gave him a thumbs up and praised, "Brother Tang, that's quite a personality. You take your revenge for your hatreds and say your complaint for your resentments. That's what a man should be. You must never be soft-hearted to those who once wanted to harm you." With a weird expression, Zhang Yu glanced at Yang Lu and lightly said, "Yang Lu, right? I do like Tang Xiu's personality, but I don't like yours. I hope you shut your mouth before you have figured out what the bottom of the matter is." Tang Xiu himself didn't say anything. "What rights do you have to tell me what to do?" Yang Lu coldly snorted. "Is there something wrong with what I said?" Giving Tang Xiu a glance, Zhang Yu then gazed deeply at Yang Lu and said, "If the person in prison is Tang Xiu's biological uncle, and the one who called him is his biological cousin, then I ask you, what rights do you have to express your opinion regarding their family problems?" "What?" Yang Lu was taken aback. As he watched the indifferent expression on Tang Xiu's face, his lips squirmed a few times, yet no words came out from him. Tang Xiu sighed inwardly. He looked at Zhang Yu and said, "I'm going back to Shanghai, and I can only return to Star City in the holidays. Help me arrange things in the prison so that he doesn't suffer there." "Don't worry. I know what to do." Long Zhang Yu nodded. "Also, remember to find out his behavior in there. If he shows good behavior, then think of ways to get him out by the end of this year. Spend however much the money and relations to accomplish that." Tang Xiu nodded and said, "For those who learn about this matter and don't know you, they may think that you're someone with a heart made of stone. But to those who know you well, you only look ruthless and heartless on the surface, yet you're actually soft inside," said Zhang Yu with a sigh. "Don't worry. My family has the ability to accomplish that. Anyways, I still have things to take care of. This guy will stay in your place here, entertain him well." Tang Xiu nodded and said, "He can stay here as he likes." Long Zhang Yu looked at Yang Lu and said, "I also have loads of things to do. Zhang Yu, I'm telling you to entertain him well. Also, find him several female companions," said Tang Xiu with a forced smile. "Don't offend this brat, I tell you. Though I can't tell what he can do, your Long family will be in great trouble if you provoke him." "What do you mean?" Long Zhang Yu furrowed his brows with a puzzled expression. Tang Xiu shook his head and answered, "This chap is a small thief, an ancestor level 1. Do you want the valuable things in your Long family to be stolen one day? Don't tell me that your family wants those stuff that must not be exposed to be stolen?" Long Zhang Yu stared at Yang Li's proud expression. His face changed a few times before he eventually forced a wry smile and said, "Got it. I know what to do. I'm happy that you understand how to act according to the situation, Brother Long." Yang Lu gave him a thumbs up and praised. "Anyways, I won't eye your family's stuff since you're Tang Xiu's friend, and forget about the women. I'll go out and depend on my own skills to find myself some flowers in the brothels." Long Zhang Yu forced a wry smile inside, yet he squeezed out an amiable smile on the surface. He knew what Tang Xiu was capable of. For someone who was praised by Tang Xiu as an ancestral-level thief, that person was highly likely to be a godly thief. He naturally didn't want to provoke such a person. Tang Xiu then left Long's dining hall. Although he came here to have breakfast, now was lunchtime, so he called Kong Xia to see him at his family's restaurant and then drove straight there. This time he came back in a hurry, though he had ample time to spend since he had already asked Han Qingwu for a leave. She couldn't say anything anymore even if he didn't go back to campus for a few days. "Oh, is this my family's restaurant?" As Tang Xiu stood at the entrance of his family's former restaurant, he looked up at the wide front door as well as the 4 welcoming ladies in cheongsam dresses. "Welcome." Chapter 538, Second Generation Nouveau Riche. The previous restaurant had been rebuilt into a 4-storied restaurant. The entrance was particularly impressive and stylish, with a total of 8 facades on both sides. While the outside area was occupied by the facades, the space inside was allocated for the restaurant's rooms. The most important of all was that luxurious boxes had been built on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors. Rising Dragon Pavilion. The name of the restaurant had been changed as well. The last time Tang Xiu returned to Star City, he actually heard his parents mentioning it when they chatted. After entering the hall, Tang Xiu noticed that the cashier in the checkout counter had been replaced by someone unfamiliar. However, when he saw a woman wearing earphones named Sun Yu walking down the stairs, he immediately smiled. Sun Yu was the previous cashier of the restaurant, a diligent and honest woman. "Hey, Sister Sun." Tang Xiu called out to her with a smile. Upon seeing Tang Xiu, Sun Yu immediately looked pleasantly surprised and smilingly said,
Ah.
"Little boss, when did you come back? This is the first time you come here after our restaurant was reopened for business half a month ago, right?"
Yeah.
"I just returned to Star City to manage some things, and came here to have a look while convenient." Tang Xiu nodded. "Anyways, I thought I was in the wrong place when I arrived outside. Why the changes? Our restaurant business has always been good and many patrons come to dine here, to the extent that they must book a few days in advance," said Sun Yu with a smile. Therefore, the boss thought to buy all the original buildings and then carried out the reconstruction. Your dad, in particular, is really great. He spent a lot of money to make the workers work days and nights. After taking quite some time, the new restaurant was finally built, and the name of the restaurant was changed as well. Tang Xiu felt relaxed and asked with a smile, "Anyways, is my mom here?" "The boss is in the office on the 4th floor," answered Sun Yu with a smile. "Do you want me to take you there?"
Nah.
"No need. I'll go there myself." Tang Xiu shook his head and smilingly replied. Right at this time, a middle-aged woman in work clothes came in, followed by a few staff members wearing blue overalls and carrying boxes of drinks. The worker cards on their chests showed that they were all employees of the magnificent Tang Corporation. "Manager Sun, these are 200 boxes of God's nectar. Please receive and sign the receipt," said the middle-aged woman with a smile. Sun Yu nodded and replied, "Thanks for the hard work. Manager Sun, could you arrange for a few of your staff to help us move the goods from the truck?" said the middle-aged woman. "Today is the distribution day for the magnificent Tang Corporation to ship our products to all of our shops, in every part of the country. The workers are loading the goods into the containers, so only a few men followed us here." "All right, I'll immediately arrange some people to unload and move them," said Sun Yu. The middle-aged woman nodded. She then looked at Tang Xiu and said, "Are you also an employee here? Hurry and move the boxes. But do remember to be very careful, the God's nectar of our magnificent Tang Cor is very expensive. You won't be able to afford it if you drop and break it." Tang Xiu stared blankly, and so did Sun Yu. Quickly after, Sun Yu recovered her senses and was about to speak as Tang Xiu waved at her and then rolled up his sleeve and smilingly said, "It's fine, I'll move them." Without turning her head, the middle-aged woman turned and walked away. "Little," Sun Yu anxiously called, but Tang Xiu interrupted her. "It's all right. This is my own business, so helping with the work is fine. Anyways, just go do your work. I'll go find my mom later," said Tang Xiu with a smile as he walked outside. In the open space outside the restaurant, the sounds of 4 medium-sized container trucks opening its back doors were heard. Tang Xiu casually came to the back of the truck and moved 2 boxes of God's nectar from the inside. Hey, hey, hey. Aren't you too bold? You want to move 2 boxes at once? Who will take the responsibility if it falls and break? Put one down, and just carry 1 box. The middle-aged woman cried out angrily. Tang Xiao didn't put the box down, and said with a smile instead, "It's all right, I'm very strong. It's not a problem to move 2 boxes at once." The middle-aged woman rushed to block his path and angrily yelled, "No way. Even if you're a Superman, you must still move 1 box at a time. Do you know that this box contains 6 bottles of God's nectar? You should have heard about God's nectar, right? The price of a bottle is 18,888 yuan. How much is in these 6 bottles, do you think? Then how much is in the 12 bottles in these 2 boxes? In case you drop them, do you think your paycheck for a year will be able to compensate it? Put one of them down quickly, and only move a box at a time." Tang Xiao opened his mouth, yet he didn't know what to say. He actually appreciated this middle-aged woman's seriousness and responsibility on her work. She did that for fear of breaking a single bottle of God's nectar. Regardless, her attitude in communicating with others was so. "Hey, what are you waiting for?" the middle-aged woman angrily said. "Do what I tell you." "I can really move 2 boxes at a time," said Tang Xiao with a forced smile. "Let alone 2 boxes, even moving 4 boxes at once won't be a problem for me. Besides, I won't lose the money if I were to drop them either." The middle-aged woman was incensed. "Was what I just told you not clear enough? Or is it that your confidence is so big? You think you're able to compensate for it? Do you think you're the son of a rich family or something? Your name is Shin Meiyun, and you should be a warehouse supervisor of the magnificent Tang Corporation, right?"
Yeah.
"That's right," answered Shin Meiyun with a proud expression. Tang Xiao shook his head. "Your responsible attitude toward your work really make me satisfied, but your attitude when you communicating with others is quite difficult for me to accept. Didn't the staff training the magnificent Tang Corporation's employees urge you to try communicating with others in the best possible ways?" Taken aback, Shin Meiyun was stunned. She didn't expect that a young employee of a restaurant would unexpectedly dare to educate her. Despite realizing that the issue lied in her manners, it was hard for her to accept it given the fact that she had a responsibility to bear. Her expression thus turned annoyed and angry as she scolded, "Do you have the say to mind my attitude, huh? It's because you didn't listen to my advice and is adamant on moving 2 boxes of God's nectar, that's why who are you, anyway? Why the hell do I have to explain myself to you?" Tang Xiao shook his head and prepared to bypass Shin Meiyun. But just as he moved his feet, Shin Meiyun blocked him. "What is wrong with you, young man? Don't tell me you can't understand human speech? I told you to move 1 box at a time, or don't move it at all. Do you really think you're a second-generation nouveau riche and have no place else to burn your money?" yelled Shin Meiyun angrily. "I really am a second-generation nouveau riche," said Tang Xiao with a frown. "If you're the second generation of the haves, then I'm the first generation of moneybag." Shin Meiyun rolled her eyes. "You're still young yet is such a hopeless case. If you really are a second-generation nouveau riche, do you even need to work at this Rising Dragon Pavilion?" During the argument, Sun Yu walked out carrying papers and a pen, followed by a handful of porters. When she saw Tang Xiao and Shin Meiyun's standoff, she approached and asked with a confused expression, "Little boss, what's going on?" "I told her I'll move 2 boxes, but she didn't let me and want me to move only 1. And now she even stopped and forbid me to move them," said Tang Xiao with a forced smile. "Little boss." Shin Meiyun was taken aback and stared blankly as she turned to look at Sun Yu and asked, "Manager Sun, what did you just call him?" "Little boss. He's the son of our boss, so he's naturally the little boss of our Rising Dragon Pavilion," replied Sun Yu. Shin Meiyun had small eyes, but after hearing this revelation, they turned perfectly round as a panicked expression appeared in them. As she looked at Tang Xiao, she shuddered and stutteringly said, "Be big. Be big, be boss." "Ah, right. I am really sorry. I didn't know it was you." At this time, Shin Meiyun had succumbed to fear, because she knew who the owner of the Rising Dragon Pavilion was. The person who opened this restaurant was the mother of her big boss, the only son of this restaurant's owner. Since the young man before her was the little boss of this Rising Dragon Pavilion, it meant that he was her big boss. Heavens! What stupid thing had she just done? To think that she treated her own big boss as a porter and was so rude towards him, wouldn't that only result in her getting fired? Whether or not I'm your boss, you still shouldn't talk to others like this. Hasn't Kong Xia told you that every employee of the Magnificent Tang Corporation represents the face of the entire company? Anyways, forget it. Just put your best into your work after you go back, said Tang Xiao with a forced smile. Shen Meiyun shuddered inside and hurriedly said, "Be boss, I know my mistake. Please give me another chance and don't fire me. I'll definitely correct and won't make the Magnificent Tang Corporation lose face. I won't fire you. But, you're going back to training. You will come back to your current job after the new year," said Tang Xiao. Upon hearing it, Shen Meiyun immediately turned excited and said, "Thank you, boss, thank you so much. I'll report myself to the training department and correct myself according to your instructions." Tang Xiao didn't speak again and directly bypassed her. With a strange expression, Sun Yu looked at the back of Tang Xiao before her eyes landed on Shen Meiyun, as she asked with a curious expression, "Sister Shen, did you annoy little boss or something? He is a cordial person with great personality and is very kind to everyone. He even treats us, the staff, very well. Manager Sun, why didn't you say before that he is the little boss of your Rising Dragon Pavilion, the big boss of my Magnificent Tang Corporation?" Shen Meiyun sighed bitterly. He was going to move 2 boxes of God's nectar, and I was afraid that the goods would fall and break, so that I scolded him and asked him to move just 1 box. Pfft. Sun Yu gave her a thumbs up and praised, "You actually reprimanded your own big boss? That's very amazing, huh? That's not right. What did you just say? Little. Is little boss the big boss of your Magnificent Tang Corporation? Are you kidding me? Didn't you know that?" Shen Meiyun asked with a confused expression. "I heard from the director of our winery. He said loads of things when he got drunk and said that the big boss of the Magnificent Tang Corporation is the little boss of the Rising Dragon Pavilion. Hence, the director told us to be extra careful every time we deliver the goods here." Sun Yu turned around to look at the restaurant's front door as tempestuous storm raging inside her heart. She finally realized the reason why the Rising Dragon Pavilion was the only restaurant able to buy God's nectar from the Magnificent Tang Corporation. It turned out that it was simply a family restaurant. Little boss, he was really a good person. With such an aloof status, he was actually that kind and genial. Moreover, he was willing to humble himself to act as a porter. Chapter 539, Ready for Action. The 200 boxes of God's nectar had finally been moved half an hour after. Upon seeing the sweating, panting porters, Tang Xiao ran to a small shop nearby and bought every one of them 2 packs of cigarettes and a bottle of mineral water. "Thanks a bunch, little bro." The porters sincerely smiled and thanked Tang Xiao after receiving such a treatment. The pack of cigarettes was of a cheap, low-quality smoke as it only cost 20 yuan a pack, and the water was only mineral water, but such a small thing made their hearts feel warm. After exchanging several polite words with them, Tang Xiao then turned to Sun Yu and said, "Remember to provide 2 packs of cigarettes and a bottle of mineral water for them after they have delivered the wine later." "Okay, I'll do that myself." Sun Yu looked at Tang Xiao with a respectful expression. Smiling at her in response, Tang Xiao immediately walked to the elevator. After pressing the button, he watched the lively scene in the hall. It was a lunchtime, and only a few tables in the entire hall were unoccupied, whereas the rest, nearly 40+ tables, had been occupied by patrons, while the attendants served them with smiling faces. Looking at this scene made Tang Xiao very contented, because he knew how much his mother had paid to develop the restaurant this stage. He felt that everything was worth it as long as his mother was happy. As he arrived on the fourth floor, Tang Xiu found the general manager office through the nameplate and knocked its door. As the voice of his mother said to come inside, he then opened the door and walked inside. "Why are you here, Xiu?" Su Lingyun, who was sitting at the office table and reading a document, asked in disbelief when she saw Tang Xiu coming in. "There was an accident on the construction site of the Long family's project in Walled Hill Village, Mom," said Tang Xiu with a smile. "Since our family also has some properties there, I hurried back from Shanghai to take a look at the situation, thus I came to see you while convenient." "Was it very serious, Xiu?" asked Su Lingyun hastily. "Did you say we have some properties there? Are you getting implicated by it?" "The accident has been managed and it will be finished soon," said Tang Xiu smilingly. "Don't worry, Mom. It's a project handled by the Long family and it doesn't relate to me at all, so I won't be implicated by it." Su Lingyun felt relieved, and said with a smile, "That's great as long as you're okay. Anyhow, Xiu, with you running here, will it delay your schooling?" "Well, you don't know your son's academic performance, Mom," said Tang Xiu with a smile. "I have finished studying the first year's curriculum by myself already. I've now been visiting the campus library besides attending classes every day. I've studied and learned more knowledge so that I'll be more proficient and skilled in the future. Don't worry. My studies won't be delayed." Su Lingyun smiled and nodded with satisfaction. "I know that you're the best, Sonny."
Ah.
"Right, it's your first time coming to our renovated family's restaurant, right? What do you think? It looks impressive now, don't you think?"
Yeah.
"It's very impressive," Tang Xiu praised while giving a thumbs up. "I thought I came to the wrong place when arrived. Furthermore, the business seems good, too." Taking Tang Xiu to the sofa in the corner, Su Lingyun then smilingly said, "It's more than good, it's great. Our restaurant is 10 times larger than in the past, and we are jam-packed with patrons. I heard you saying back then that you wanted to count the money until your fingers get numb, and that's exactly what happened. I can't count the money by hand anymore. Then, it's really great, right?" Tang Xiu couldn't help laughing. After chit-chatting with Tang Xiu for a while, Su Lingyun then suddenly seemed to recall something and quickly asked, "Have you had a lunch after you got here, Xiu?" "Not yet," said Tang Xiu, shaking his head. "Then Mom will personally prepare it for you." "Wait here," said Su Lingyun and quickly got up. Tang Xiu hurriedly stopped her and smilingly said, "Let someone else do it, Mom. You don't need to do it yourself. Besides, I'm going to manage some issues today and we'll go back to Shanghai tomorrow morning. Let us have a good chat." "All right." Soon, fragrant dishes were delivered and Su Lingyun accompanied Tang Xiu until he was finished. Following that, mother and son chatted for a while before Tang Xiu left for the magnificent Tang Group's edifice. On the way there, he phoned Kong Xia and learned that she wasn't there, but in the number 6 warehouse. He then changed his direction and headed directly to there. Wearing an engineering outfit, Kong Xia greeted Tang Xiu along with 7 staff members. "Is this number 6 warehouse going to store the health products of our company?" asked Tang Xiu with a smile.
Yeah.
"Our company is currently stockpiling a large number of our health products. We're doing it for a week more before shipping them to the major cities in the country. Also, we chose to use the hunger marketing model like we did previously as well, so we're going to distribute the goods 4 times each month with limited quota every week," answered Kong Xia. "Anyhow, I haven't asked the brand name for the health products. What is it to be called and how much is it going to be priced?" asked Tang Xiu with a smile. "The brand name is Health Vitae Elixir," said Kong Xia. "The price is the same as God's Nectar's, 18,888 yuan a box, which contains 2 bottles. Tang Xiu nodded and smiled, "Not bad. Are you still busy here? When will you return to the company?" "I just checked the inventory in stock. We can go back now," said Kong Xia. "All right, let's go then." Tang Shou smiled. As dusk came, Tang Shou, Kong Xia, and Andy had dinner together. After escorting them back to their residence, Tang Shou then rushed to Southgate Town. On the way there, he contacted Chen Jizhong and learned that the Endless Virtue Pharmaceutical had already carried out a business cooperation with the Everlasting Feast Hall, as the former would sell a large amount of valuable medicinal herbs to the latter. Ring, ring, ring. When Tang Shou just drove through the front gate to the interior of Southgate Town, his mobile phone suddenly buzzed. After accepting the call, he said, "Do you need something, Xiao Xue?" "Boss, we just got a message that someone is currently negotiating for the lease of Clam Island in the South China Sea. You will definitely be interested in the identity of that person." Gu Xiaoxue's voice came out of the phone. "Who is he?" asked Tang Shou. "It's someone from Beijing, from the Yao family," said Gu Xiaoxue. With a slightly changed countenance, Tang Shou asked in a deep voice, "Are you sure that it's someone from the Yaos? Who's in charge of negotiating the leasing of the island over there?" "Yes, it's confirmed that he's from the Yao family. The person in charge is called Yao Xinhua," said Gu Xiaoxue. "The Yaos are going to rent an island in South China. What are they going to do there?" asked Tang Shou. "I haven't investigated about that yet." Gu Xiaoxue shook her head. "The Yao family is acting very low-key. In particular, that Yao Xinhua seemed to have bribed a few people there. If my inference is not mistaken, they will soon sign the contract with the government. Also, I've sent some people to take a look at the island. The island is very good, and I think it will be very suitable for Herb's plantation. Additionally, there's another small island 2 kilometers away from Clam Island which is very suitable to rear fierce beasts." Tang Shou's face flickered and said in a deep voice, "I'll immediately rush to Jingmen Island, then we'll continue discussing this issue once I get there. Delay the Yao family in signing the contract with the government if possible." "Understood," Gu Xiaoxue replied. After the phone call ended, Tang Shou called his mother, Su Lingyun, and told her that there was a trivial matter he needed to deal with, and that he would go back directly. He then contacted Yang Lu and drove back to Shanghai. "I really can't stand it, Tang Shou. I drove all night long last night, and I only slept for 4+ hours during the day. Now you are dragging me back to Shanghai in a hurry, and there's no way I want to shorten my life." "Heck, no matter what, you drive," Yang Lu complained after having a seat in the car. "Okay, I'll drive." "Got back to your sleep?" Tang Shou nodded. "For us to go back this fast, what exactly happened, Tang Shou?" asked Yang Lu curiously. "There's a personal issue I need to deal with," said Tang Shou. "After returning to Shanghai, I'll just pack a few clothes and head to Jingmen Island." "Why? Do you want to go with me?" Yang Lu rolled his eyes. "Bah, no way. I just realized that you're a con man who ensnares people. We had an agreement to divide the booty from that ancient tomb exploration, remember? And the result? I got nothing whatsoever. I was scared shitless and half dead, but I got no benefits at all." A smile outlined on the corner of Tang Shou's mouth. He glanced at his depressed look and said, "Who said you didn't get any benefits at all? You saw those magical and mysterious scenes back there. That should be your biggest benefit, don't you think?" "Bah, I couldn't care less about that," Yang Lu grunted. "I saw what you did to the 3 gates with my own eyes. Though I don't know what means you used to make them vanish like that, I dare to bet that they must have been taken by you. You must share the booty with me once we get back to Shanghai." Tang Shou couldn't help laughing. "Properly speaking, I should indeed share the booty with you, but I changed my mind and plan to teach you some skills as a reward for your performance this time. Regardless, I still have another condition." Yang Lu was startled and hurriedly said, "What is it?" Tell me, tell me." "You must go with me to Jingmen Island," answered Tang Shou. "What are you gonna do there?" asked Yang Lu. I'm going to rent 2 islands in the South China Sea, said Tang Xiu. Yang Lu stared blankly and asked in disbelief, you're going to rent islands? Are you so full already that you got nothing to do anymore? I have great uses for them, said Tang Xiu lightly. So, are you coming with me or not? I still need to know what shit you're gonna make me do, replied Yang Lu. What I need from you is still unclear as of now. But as long as you come with me, maybe it will be useful to you in the future, said Tang Xiu. Fine. I'll go with you, then. Yang Lu nodded. But we gotta make an agreement first. You gotta keep that promise to teach me those powerful skills of yours, got it? No problem. Tang Xiu smilingly nodded. Yang Lu looked out of the window and said with a smile, Brother Tang, I found that, after being with you for this while, it was kind of fun and exciting. At the very least, I learned about another identity of yours after coming to Star City. Though I should have long guessed about that. What identity, exactly? Asked Tang Xiu casually. You're the young miracle-working doctor at Star City Chinese Medical Hospital, am I right? Said Yang Lu. Tang Xiu couldn't help laughing, everyone on Earth already knows this fact. You really think you are so awesome as the latest man who found out about it? Do you want me to praise you? Bah, just drive. Yang Lu rolled his eyes and grunted. Chapter 540, The Eldest Disciple of the Thief Branch. Under the light of the moon and the stars, Tang Xiu personally drove all the way through the high-speed road and arrived in Shanghai at 2 in the early morning. After he arrived at his villa in Blue Star Villa Complex, Tang Xiu did a simple packing and then went to the study room to release the fierce beast from the array. Do you want to go out to play with me? Tang Xiu only asked once, but he saw the fierce beast repeatedly nod and look eager. He then smilingly said, since you want to go out to play with me, then obediently stay in the villa tonight. I'll take you to somewhere outside and you won't have to stay inside the array again in the near future. Following that, he took a bath and changed his underwear, and then dialed Long Zhengyu's number. As he guessed, Long Zhengyu hadn't yet gone to sleep, as his weary voice came out of the phone, You aren't asleep yet, Tang Xiu? There's an urgent matter, so I returned to Shanghai, said Tang Xiu. I will have to hand over the matter in Star City to you. But don't work too hard, though. Delegate the work if you're too tired. Don't worry. I can still hold on. Anyways, is the problem troublesome? Do you want me to lend you a hand? Asked Long Zhengyu. No, I can handle it myself, said Tang Xiu. Afterward, the two exchanged some pleasantries before ending the call. As morning came, Tang Xiu and Yang Lu went to Jin Xinkui's residence. After handing over the architectural design he personally drew to Jin Xingkui, Tang Xiu hurriedly left and drove to Han Qingwu's residence. At the entrance, Han Qingwu was wearing a windproof coat and was currently fiddling with her mobile phone. When a car stopped in front of her, she put her mobile phone away, looked at Tang Xiu and complained, It's only 6:30. Tang Xiu. It's been half an hour since you called me. I don't think you need to be in such a hurry, since we are just going to vacation, no? With a serious expression, Tang Xiu said, I gotta correct you about that. I'm not going Jingmen Island to sightsee this time. I have important things to deal with. Also, you can opt to not go. Han Qingwu charmingly rolled eyes. She took her suitcase to the car's rear, opened the trunk and stuffed it inside, and then opened the door and straightly sat on the back seat. _bam_. After the car's door was closed, Han Qingwu glanced at Yang Lu, who was sitting on the front seat, and said, Let's go, then. Don't tell me you're going to drive all the way to Jingmen Island? Tang Xiu started the car as he slightly smiled and said, You're right. We're indeed going to Jingmen Island by car, since it will really waste more time if we rush to the airport and wait for the flight to take off. My business will also be delayed. Anyways, let me introduce you. His name is Yang Lu. Han Qingwu looked at Yang Lu. She gently nodded and said, "What are you gonna do in Jingmen Island, Tang Shou?" "I'm afraid you won't understand even if I tell you," said Tang Shou. "This time, your only duty is to have fun. Consider it as a vacation. You don't need to worry about anything else." Han Qingwu pursed her lips and turned her face to look out of the window. Though she really admired Tang Shou for his achievement to build such a big business at such a young age, an achievement countless people are unable to achieve in their lifetime, yet she felt quite vexed and irritated inside. It was because she thought that she was his teacher, and Tang Shou was her student. But Tang Shou had unexpectedly surpassed her, and the gap was very big. Going to Jingmen Island from Shanghai was a distance of thousands of kilometers. Although Tang Shou could manage to drive there by himself, Han Qingwu and Yang Le helped sharing the work halfway. The trio took turns to drive and arrived in Jingmen Island at 4 in the afternoon. After entering the urban area, Tang Shou followed the GPS and headed directly to the HQ of the Everlasting Feast Hall. "The scenery here is great." Sitting on the front seat, Han Qingwu couldn't bear but sigh in praise after seeing the landscape, scenery, and manner on both sides of the highway. Tang Shou glanced at her and drove straight inside. At the main gate, for experts of the Everlasting Feast Hall straightly opened the gate after seeing Tang Shou. Grand Master Gu Xiaoxue, who was waiting in the parking lot, hurriedly came to greet him after he got off from the car. A group of Everlasting Feast Hall's experts who saw Tang Shou's arrival came rushing to the front and cupped their fists. "Boss." Tang Shou slightly nodded, "Attend to your duties." "Understood." That group of Everlasting Feast Hall's experts respectfully replied and left. While looking at Gu Xiaoxue, Tang Shou said, "What's the current situation?" "I've sent people to create obstructions, and the news relayed to us at noon said that the other party just came back from Clam Island, and is now settling at Jingmen Island's Xingdi Luo Hotel. Also, Yao Xinhua is currently negotiating with senior officials of Jingmen Island. He should be waiting for the documents to be approved by the above government officials," said Gu Xiaoxue. Tang Shou nodded slightly and then pointed to Han Qingwu, saying, "She's Han Qingwu, a teacher in my campus. She's on vacation, so she came along with us while convenient. Assign some people to settle her here and provide everything she needs as far as possible no matter what her request is." "I'll properly arrange her accommodations, Grand Master," said Gu Xiaoxue with a nod. During their conversation, several people came and then guided Han Qingwu to the side room of the restaurant. Whereas Tang Shou and Yang Le followed Gu Xiaoxue to a luxury suite. "Give me all the information you've investigated. Please wait for a bit." Gu Xiaoxue made a phone call, and quickly after, someone sent a stack of documents. On it was the result of the investigation conducted by the members of the Everlasting Feast Hall. Tang Shou read the information with a serious expression, and then took out his mobile and dialed a cell number. "Auntie, there's a small matter I need your help with." "What is it?" Tang Min's laughter was heard from the cell phone. "My men in Jingmen Island accidentally found something. The Yao family seems to have made some movements in the South China Sea. When I had a bout with Yao Xinhua in the southern region last time, he seemed to be preparing to rent islands in the South China Sea, and he is now currently communicating with the government. Auntie, can you help me investigate how is the progress of the Yao family in renting these islands?" "Are you sure you're not mistaken, Tang Shou?" asked Tang Min in a deep voice. "Is the Yao family really renting islands in the South China Sea?" "The news obtained by my men won't be wrong," said Tang Shou. "It seems that the Yao family's plan is about to launch," muttered Tang Min. "What plan, exactly?" asked Tang Shou with a puzzled expression. "Of the 4 top security companies in China, 2 of them are secretly under the control of the Yao family," said Tang Min. "Our family has just received this piece of intelligence a while ago. From the person we bought the news. It is said that the Yao family is going to set up a new security company to create an elite security company, formed in the military format. Saying it simply, it will be the most elite armed force of the Yaos." Tang Shou's eyes squinted as he inquired more. Auntie, are you sure this news is reliable? If this is really the case, I think it's entirely possible for them to proceed smoothly. Once the Yao family has shaped up the organization of their armed force, they will surely expose it under our noses. I can destroy this armed force and bring about an extremely bitter blow to the Yao family. The issue is not that simple. Even if the Yao family forms their newest security company and train an elite armed force, they won't assign too many of their current armed forces there. Additionally, the Yao family seems eager to make trouble as of recently. They have contacted many families in secret, saying that it's necessary to help them foster some elite talents. In actuality, how could these families train their armed forces and then hand them over to the Yao family? However, those cooperating with the Yao family will send some of their men to be tied up with the Yaos ahead of time. If some accident were to happen to their newest security company, I'm afraid many families will be furious. Tang Shou fell into silence for a while, as he then nodded and said, since complete destruction is not an option, then we can only stop the Yao family's plan. By coincidence, I'm also preparing to rent 2 islands in the South China Sea, and since the Yao family didn't opt to strike us, then we'll be the first ones to take the initiative to dispatch armed forces. We'll try to make them come out empty-handed and eventually hit the place where they will form the security company. I'll immediately send some people to investigate it. I'll inform you right away once I get the news, said Tang Min. All right. Tang Xiu replied and ended the call. At the side, Yang Lu, whose eyes flashed with curiousness, inquired, Brother Tang, that Yao family you just spoke about, is it the Yao family of Beijing?
Yeah.
It's them. Tang Xiu nodded. A complicated look flashed in Yang Li's eyes, as he forced a smile and said, You wanted me to come with you this time, could it be that you want my help to deal with the Yao family?
Yeah,
answered Tang Xiu. Yang Lu fell into silence for a while, as he then shook his head and said, Maybe I can help you if it was something else, but I'm afraid there's nothing I can do in this matter. Since I came here with you, there's something that shocked me. This everlasting feast hall has loads of experts. I don't think I have the craving to stretch my hands out in the face of so many people. Tang Xiu frowned, I don't get you. Brother Tang, there's something that you may not know, Yang Lu forced out a helpless smile. I'm a member of Thief Branch of the occult sect. Although the Thief Branch is literally split up, my eldest senior brother is a Yao clansman, and he even has quite a status there. Although this eldest senior brother of mine has been staying abroad all these years and his shadow is rarely seen, I dare say that he must be planning something big. Tang Xiu was taken aback. What is the name of this eldest senior brother of yours? Yao Qinglong, said Yang Lu. Following that, Tang Xiu directly made a phone call to his grandfather, Tang Guisheng. He then got some information about Yao Qinglong from him. What made him wary was that, despite the known fact that Yao Qinglong was a Yao clansman and also had quite a status in the family, yet the fact that he was a disciple of the Thief Branch was not mentioned in the investigation. This will be a problem. With a somber expression, Tang Xiu said, Do you know in which country your eldest senior brother is staying and what businesses he has abroad? I'm clueless about that. Yang Lu shook his head and forced out a wry smile.